Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We made it to February, Mofo's Lessons, month 2. So I'm really excited again to be here with you guys. And since February, we celebrate Valentine's Day. It's a short month. I think that it's good that we talk about love and relationships. And I'm really excited. So, the first thing that I want to say about relationships. I got this from Pastor Todd. Whether you're religious or not, the message is, pretty clear. He talked about, your singleness before you get into a relationship. And why is singleness important? So, singleness is the way, you feel about yourself and who you are before you get into a relationship. So, you need to figure out what is going on inside of your own body, your own head, and everything is about accepting who you are and loving yourself before you can go and blend and love somebody else. So one way that you can, you know, work on your singleness is by, writing down your fears, writing down your anxieties, writing down those things and like healing your inner child, basically. So, for me, before I got into my relationship, I really was suffering from depression and anxiety. And, I was taking Prozac and I was taking an anti anxiety medication. And those things were helping me cope because I had, lost myself in the pandemic. And, it was a really hard time. And honestly, like me and my boyfriend me and my boyfriend now, we were just, kind of like dating. Well, really, we were just having sex. That's really what we were doing. So we were just having sex and enjoying each other's time. And he always told me that I was just so crazy and that like I would just be spazzing on him for no reason. And, that I was just crazy and just all these other things. And I did do a lot of crazy things. I definitely did some crazy things, but I wasn't healed from my previous relationship. I wasn't I just wasn't myself. And when you're not yourself, like you can't be the best person you can be to your partner. So we took a break for a while from having sex. A lot of things changed. I moved back home. um, and like I got into therapy. I changed my job, started working out more. I had got my body done. Like, I just, all these good things. I was making a lot of money at the time. And like I was able to work on myself and work on those things. And then, you know, some months later, me and my, boyfriend now, who was, my friends with benefits at the time, we ended up like reconnecting. Like I just randomly called him up one day after months of not talking, and like we were both in like a better space. And after that, like we just started hanging out more, and we just both noticed like a difference in each other, and the way that like we were both able to like heal and like be better people individually. So that's one way that you can just work on yourself. If you struggle with like anxiety or depression or OCD or low self-esteem or anything like that, like you need to work on managing that stuff before you get into a relationship, because you're going to project your emotions, you're going to project bad things onto your relationship, and it's going to mess with your mind. And relationships are already hard enough, so you want to be in like a clear space. You don't want to be all foggy when you're getting into a relationship. Like you want to be done with the past, you want to be able to move on, and like also you just want to be able to like love yourself fully. And like no matter what anybody says about you, like nobody can get you out of character, nobody can derail you from your past, and I mean from your path, sorry. Derail you from your path. um Also, like another way that you can work on yourself is just letting go of your past experiences. We all have experienced some form of trauma growing up, and honestly, like when I moved back home, it was just like a constant reminder. I have been away, in school for like 5 years. I have been away in totality for 6 years. So coming back home, it was like all of my triggers, all of my, fears and things that make me feel crazy was like in my face. Like I could not escape it. And honestly, like healing that stuff is really freaking hard. It is not easy to let go of things that have happened to you, that have affected you in the way that you grew up. But I will say, like, if you work on those things and, like, you try to, mend the relationships that you can, you try to forgive people for the things that they have done. And just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean like they have to be a part of your life. Um, we have family members, we have friends who we love deeply, but they just honestly cannot be a part of our lives. And that's okay because we love them, but you know, why add on extra stress that you don't have to? So that's a good way to just kind of like, heal your inner child, be in therapy, go to therapy if you have a therapist, if you need help finding a therapist. Therapy does work, but it works only if you want it to work. So I always think that people should just have, even if like, you don't want to, it's just nice to have somebody that like doesn't know you, doesn't know your family, doesn't know your friends, and just help you sort through your own problems. And sometimes like sometimes I just go in there and vent to my therapist. Like, I don't really care about her advice. I'm gonna do what I want to do in the end. And but she does help me like come to my own conclusions, and she makes me feel more in control of my life. If that makes sense. So shout out to Danny. That's my therapist's name. Um, Also, like, there was this one quote from Pastor Todd that he said, singleness is not a punishment and relationships are not rewards. So for me, like, I was that girl who like, grew up just like wanting life to be this fairy tale and find my prince and be like carried off and just have this dream life. But like, relationships are hard, like having to blend your life with somebody else. And not only that, like, you're dealing with somebody and their emotions and their heart. And like, if you're young, like, you're still trying to like figure out your own life. So to kind of have to be like, not responsible for one another, but have to like consider somebody else when you're making decisions, versus when you're single, you're free. Like, just a simple example is like when you're driving home from work and you want to stop at Popeyes, you don't got to call nobody and ask them like what they want from Popeyes. You don't got to pay extra money to bring them food. Like, and then if they say they don't want Popeyes, you got to drive to two different places. Like, you don't even got to do all that. So there are like, there are things that you can do, and there are things that are not great about just being in a relationship. But like, relationships are beneficial, and being single is also beneficial. There's pros to cons to both. So if you're right now and you're single, don't think that like because you're not in a relationship like you're doing something wrong. Like, your time will come. And like, honestly, like, the longer you wait to get into a relationship, um like the more smart you can be about like the way you maneuver in that relationship. My first relationship, I feel like I was just so naive, and I was just like I just really wanted to be with that person, and I really wanted to be like in love, and I really wanted to have a family, and like I completely like ignored all like the terrible terrible things that were going on, while I was dealing with this person. And it honestly, like, I would have been better if I was just single, really, or like I would have been better if I wasn't even dealing with that person. But like, you don't know. And that's the thing about relationships, is that like they're always a gamble. Like, it may go well and it may not go well, but one thing about relationships is are that like they do affect you. They do affect your mental health. They do affect, your mood. They affect everything. Like, when me and my boyfriend are not, you know when we're arguing, like, and we're not agreeing, it makes me feel like, okay, what am I doing? What am I doing wrong in my relationship? It makes me feel anxious. It makes me feel, you know, just unsure. And, like, those are a lot of emotions to be dealing with when you have other things that you have going on in your life. So, yeah, I would just say, work on yourself before you get into a relationship. Really, and really work on yourself. Like, you could lie to everybody else, but you should not be lying to yourself. Like, you need to decide if you are really ready for a relationship. And just because, like, you may be going through something, that doesn't mean that you still shouldn't date. It doesn't mean you still shouldn't go out with people. Like, when I was dealing with my friends with benefits, who's now my boyfriend, like, we weren't together at the time. So in the beginning, at least, like the first 2 years, yeah, we weren't together. So, and now we're going on 3 years and we've been together for like a few months. So yeah. So we weren't together and I was still dating other people. Like, I still went out, I still hung out, like I still flirted, I still, did my thing because, like, yes, I was healing, but I still want to have fun. And you don't have to, like, have sex with all those people, and you don't have to, like, be in uncomfortable situations, but you should be meeting people, and you should be, like, seeing what you like and decide what you don't like. How are you going to know what you want in a relationship if you don't, deal with people, on a day-to-day basis? So I hope you guys enjoyed that lesson, just on your singleness. And next time we are going to be talking about, actually, I don't even know what the next episode is. I think the next episode we are going to be talking about, like, getting into a relationship, what that means for us and what that looks like, and red flags, green flags, yellow flags. So you don't want to miss it. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks.